Well, howdy there, Internet students. It's Mr. Hermanson again. We're doing lesson 3.2a here. We're going to learn how to calculate interest, like in a savings account or if you um, take out a loan. What we're going to do today is what we call simple interest. And there's a little formula we're going to use, but it's really all about how you find percents. And it's taking what we've learned about percents before and simplifying it a bit. So here's the formula. For simple interest, to figure out how much you have to pay, I is interest equals principal, that's how much you borrowed or how much you have in the bank, principal, times your rate, which is a percent. You're going to have to write that as a decimal, turn that into decimal. I'll go over that as a reminder, and then times the time in years, so how many years this loan or this savings account has the money in. Now, to change a percent to a decimal, you divide it by 100. Like if you have 7%, just do 7 over 100. And basically, it's just turning that 7 out of 100 into a percent. But if you divide that, you get 0.07. Some people just remember, so 7, the decimal would be here. Just dividing by 100 moves the decimal back 2 places, so you can do it that way also. So when you're using this formula, you have to make sure your interest rate is a decimal, not a percent. So remember that a percent means out of 100, it's just written shorthand. So it really is a different decimal number. All right, so here's how you do it. If you have $500 in your savings account, now write this down. That's the amount in there is called your principal, so that's P. And the interest rate is 4% per year. So that's the rate we're going to use. Now we're going to change that to a decimal. So write that down as 0.04. That's your R. And then your time is the number of years. So let's put a T there by the number of years. So then we're just going to use to find your simple interest. So this is how much you will make on the savings account in 6 years. It's I equals principal times rate times time. So we labeled each of those. Here's our principal, $500. And our rate is, we always have to write that as a decimal when we use the formula, so 0.04 times the time, which is 6 years. Okay, I think I'm going to use parentheses for all of these. Then you just use your calculator and do those calculations. So 500 times 0.04 times 6. Okay, now if you were to figure out what 4% of 500 is, that would be 20. 4% of 500 is 20. And then multiplying that by 6, because you have this in for 6 years. So so we have $120 in interest. And so our balance in 6 years, we're going to have our principal. So whenever you're finding your balance, you just add your principal plus your interest. So we're just going to add 500 plus 120. And that is $620 in there. Okay? All right. Our next step, we're going to find the interest earned in 3 months. Now, when you have a number of months and your time is in years, that's 3 months out of 12 months. So 3 out of 12. And let's go ahead and write that as a decimal. We'll just divide 3 by 12. You guys can probably tell that's a fourth of a year, or 0.25 years. So now our time has changed to 0.25. The rest is the same. We have $500 principal times our rate, which is 0.04, 4%, times our time, which is 0.25. Okay, now that gives us our interest. To get our balance, we're going to have to add that. So we're going to do 500 times 0.04 times 0.25. And that gives us $5. So our balance now, to get our balance again, remember we want to add our principal plus our interest to get our balance. So it's 500 plus 5. So basically in that fourth of a year, we earn $5. So we have 505 now. Okay. Just a reminder, whenever you're doing money, you always run round to the nearest hundredths place. That's 2 places after the third of the decimal. So let's just do a quick example here. Let's say that our calculator says 4.875, and we want that to be a money amount. We're going to round right here. So the 5 will tell us to add 1. So you would always give that for money as $4.88. All right. So let's try a couple problems here. I'm going to let you do this. Start by writing down everything that you know. Principal is how much you're starting with in your account. Rate, always write that as a decimal, so we're going to do 4 divided by 100 again, which is 0.04. And then our time is 6. And so, so to calculate that, you just multiply those 3. All right. Actually, give these a shot. I'll show you my work so you can see if you got it right, but see if you're getting them right. And good luck. Now remember, to get your balance, you need to add your principal. So how much you had plus your interest. So you should have got $1,560 for that. All right. So just to make sure you have this part right, so our principal is the $4,250 loan we're taking out. To turn this into a rate divided by 100, so 5.2 divided by 100, which, if you remember, that just moves a decimal over 2 places, so we're going to use 0.052 for that one. And then our time is 8 years. So you're going to do 4,250 times 0.052 times 8 years. Get your interest, and then the balance you're going to add the principal plus whatever you got for the interest. So the interest is times 0.052 times 8, 1,768. Now you got to get your balance of your loan. So this is basically how much you're going to have to pay back. You're going to add your principal plus your interest. So $6,018. All right, you can try the next one. So on number 4, notice you're finding the balance. So once you find the interest, you have to add that to your principal. So that's how much you're going to owe. And that comes to $12,235.60. Now this last one is just finding the interest, so you don't have to add your interest to your principal to get your balance in the end. Also notice the time is 3 months, so you don't use the number 3, you do 3 out of 12. It's a fraction of a year, which is 0.25 years. So if you did that right, you should have got, for your interest, 6. You should have got $25 for that. Okay, and that's all it asks for is the interest. All right, so go ahead and summarize what you're doing. You have to understand what each of these letters stand for. To find your interest, you do principal times rate times time. And then to find your balance, so let's write this out, you guys. That's equal to your principal plus your interest. All right. You ready to try some homework? Go Good luck with that. If you have any questions, message me. Have a good day.